Massachusetts could make history this November, but not in the way you might expect. Voters will decide whether to become the first state in the country to repeal recreational marijuana.
Western Mass News reporter Reagan Lokery has the story on what it could mean for your tax dollars. Reagan.
Yeah, that's right, Chris and Amanda. It's question 8 on the November ballot. A yes vote repeals recreational cannabis sales while keeping medical marijuana legal. Whether you've ever set foot in a dispensary or not, the outcome could affect funding for your schools, your roads, and your health care. Here's what both sides are saying.
Peyton Shubrick is the CEO and founder of 6 Bricks, an adult-use dispensary in Springfield. She's also vice chair of the Massachusetts Cannabis Coalition, which has formed a Stop the Repeal committee. She says the threat is coming from outside the state.
This November, Massachusetts voters will vote on a ballot question funded by wealthy out-of-state marijuana opponents that would repeal regulated recreational cannabis in Massachusetts and would pose an existential threat to the jobs and local revenue generated by the industry each year.
The revenue at stake is significant since voters legalized marijuana in 2016. With sales beginning in 2018, the industry has generated nearly $2 billion in state and local revenue, money that currently flows to schools, housing, transportation, and health care. Shubrick says losing it would hurt everyone.
The things that the Commonwealth would go without touch on schools to healthcare and so much more. I mean, the reality is whether you're a consumer or not, it's not an individual problem. It's a Commonwealth problem.
Shubrick says youth cannabis use has actually gone down since recreational use was legalized a decade ago. But Wendy Wakeman, spokesperson for the Coalition for a Healthy Massachusetts, says the financial argument misses the bigger picture.
What's the cost really, Reagan? There's a human cost associated with having cannabis as a recreational choice, a cost to public health, a cost to public safety, and those costs are as real as tax revenue.
Wakeman's group also points to impaired driving, noting there is currently no roadside test to determine if a motorist is driving high. As for dispensary owners, she says many could transition to the medical cannabis market, which would remain legal under the repeal.
We drive on the roads every day with motorists who are high, and the police have absolutely no way to enforce that.
If the repeal passes, Shubrick says the timeline for closures is the great unknown, anywhere from 36 to 90 days or possibly the same day.
Voters cast their ballots on November 3rd. If you want to keep recreational marijuana legal, vote no on October 8th. A yes vote would repeal it. Now, we'll continue to follow this story as the campaign heats up. For now, reporting live in studio, Reagan Lokery, Western Mass News.